Recently, I've been thinking a lot more about my story. What I mean is the story of who I am and where I'm going. I feel like in 2021, my story got interrupted. I was doing pretty good, and then some things happened in my life, and then I started telling a completely different story. One of those stories being about the person who got tinnitus and who couldn't sleep and who had a lot of anxiety. And that became the story of who I was. But I fortunately had a good friend who told me that you have to start telling a different story, even if the story is not true yet. If you start telling the story over and over again, and you can revise your story as you go, about who you were before and where you're going to go, and hopefully tell it in a pretty positive way, your mind and your body start preparing to do that, to live that story. And even maybe right now, you're not in such a good place. The more you start telling the story about where you want to go, and your mind starts believing that it's possible. You start preparing for it. You start thinking about the details that would be needed for you to go and do something interesting with your life. So, but when I got tinnitus, I felt like every day I was thinking about it, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. But fortunately, I did have a friend who told me, don't give up hope. You've got to keep thinking about what you're going to do in the future, and it may take some time, but you're going to start being that person. And then you're going to be okay again. And they were right. And now I just, every time I get a little bit in a rut where I feel like I'm having a rough day or something, I try to remember, wait a second, I've got a story here. I'm living a story. And I want to keep doing something interesting. And do something with my life. So one thing I'm doing is I'm going to go on a trip to China. And I'm so excited about that. I've studied Chinese for 10 years. And that's my story of studying Chinese and then going to China. I've always been destined to do that. And now I'm going. And, I'm really happy about that. So that's my story. But I hope you can think about your story too, and where you're going, and try to, see it in a positive light. Maybe in my case, I'm going to China one day. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going. And now I'm going. And it seems so hard. It seems so distant, like it would be impossible for that to ever happen. And now I'm going. So start thinking about where you're going to go, what you're going to do. You may not know how to get there right now, but you've got a story, and that's part of your story, and you're going to reach your destination at some point. Yeah? Okay, so I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.